KATV, Understanding the Mind of God.
That it can be a product that can enhance your income if you are doing other work. And that is why it is important that the government policies are put into place to encourage agriculture. Because, let's be honest, nobody can live without food. That is one of the basic requirements of human beings. So it is important that agriculture is given the importance that it needs in today's world. And I think if you look at the Ukraine crisis, you will realize that these kind of reports are important for us to understand the situation in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hindu Council representative. Now, I would like to request our Muslim brothers and sisters present. Your representative, kindly. We acknowledge your participation, but we'd like to request if there's to come over and say something. Okay, there's none. Oh, here she is. Thank you, thank you. Can we clap for her?
Good morning. My name is Fatma Naserian from the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims. I was sent this morning by Shahid to represent him. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. And I was unprepared for this. But I'll just say, as SUPKEM, we are really interested in climate change, and more especially on agriculture. And from the findings, or maybe what I'll take to the office is, from the findings, was we saw that youths were less represented when it came to agriculture and farming. So I'll encourage to work together, maybe to make sure that youths are interested in this, because they are the leaders, not the leaders, they are the farmers of tomorrow. If we don't bring them on board now, then we'll sleep hungry tomorrow. That's what I'll say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Can we applaud her? Thank you, thank you. The private sector, kindly. Private sector. Any member of private sector representing there? Okay. What about the Catholic brothers from the Catholic faith? Catholic. But we acknowledge your presence. Now we'll move to the next session, which is a panel and plenary, so that we have reflection on this report. And I'll be requesting Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Emily Onyango, kindly come to the podium. Request Julius Komuga. I request I also request Honorable Caroline Nyavula Farah. I request Wangare. Is Wangare already here? Wangare from the Ministry of Environment. Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much. We have our colleagues here who are the experts. They'll be having a discourse in this area of climate change or smart farming agriculture. And I'll just want them to introduce themselves. Then after that, we can have the conversation. Welcome.
I'm Emily Onyango, a bishop in the Anglican Church of Kenya, Diocese of Bondo, also a lecturer at St. Paul's University.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Anne Masharia. I work for Lati Agribusiness Solutions Limited in Isinya, Kajiado County as a head of training. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Caroline Nyamvula Farah, working in Kilifi County, the county government of Kilifi Agriculture Department. I'm a principal agricultural officer.
Good morning. My name is Ewart Julius Komunga from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the State Department for Agriculture. I'm in the Climate Change Unit. Thank you. And also a member of CSA, that's Climate Smart Agriculture Multi-Stakeholder Platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I request Nicholas kindly to come and moderate this session? Nicholas, please come and introduce yourself and then help us moderate this session.
Thank you, Mr. Buibo, for the welcome. And I think our panelists have already introduced themselves, if I'm not wrong. My name is Nicholas Abuya, and I work with Christian Aid as a global resilience advisor. Based here in Nairobi. Christian Aid is a member of ACT Alliance. I think we have a very powerful panel before us, and it would have been appropriate for us really to applaud them. Can we have a round of applause to our panelists? Thank you very much. And a very interesting panel today in the sense that most of the times when panels are convened, you find that is the ladies who are in the minority. Today, the men are in the minority, which is also a good thing. You meet a 1/3. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. My role here is very simple, really. We are coming from sessions where we had the formal introduction and the formal opening in terms of launching the study findings, and also the presentation, high-level presentation of the report by the consultant. We want really now to extend the conversation moving forward in terms of really interrogating, the findings as they were presented. And we could not have a better panel than this one, given their level of experience, technical expertise, and also cutting across in terms of from public, from faith-based organization, and even from the county government. We want really to start off by asking a very basic question, which every panelist will answer. We are just coming from a session where the findings were presented to us. From your perspective, what stood out for you from the report on the assessment of the implementation of climate smart agriculture strategy? Maybe I should start with you, Bishop. I'm from the faith-based organization, therefore identify very closely with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was quite interesting that it was affirmed that in the research, women participate in big numbers. And we know that in Africa, women, are in charge of agriculture and food security. But somehow I always ask myself, is this participation really of impact? Because in many instances, women are not in the decision-making bodies, We are always told if you are not part of the table, you might be part of the menu. So women might be there in large numbers, but do they participate in decision making and the funding? Secondly, the issue of the youth. I remember when we were in school, the method of punishing people was to go and dig. And therefore, most youth have a very negative attitude towards farming. And since the backbone of Kenya's economy is agriculture, I blame if we can't change the attitude of the youth. And I also noted the issue of coordination. Many organizations participate in climate change and climate smart agriculture, but we don't coordinate. So I think we use a lot of resources duplicating the work. And I think the call for somehow bringing our resources together is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, over to you. What was a key takeaway from the study findings from your perspective?
Thank you. My key takeaway findings from this research and presentations made this morning is that we are still relying heavily on donor funding, which is good, but again, how sustainable is it? Like we shrinking, but how are we resilient, or are we building resilient for our country and also for our communities and farmers to make sure that they will continue doing the good agricultural practices effectively? Secondly is the issue of the youth. I was actually surprised that the youths who are the future generation, we are still having a little number. That stood at 60.2%, especially for the youth who are between 25 years and 35 years, who actually probably have already done their tertiary institutions, and we're expecting them probably to be working in agriculture. But in that case, if we still have youths who are, or limited number of youths who engage in agriculture, what are the reasons? For me, I work with the youths, and I was actually reflecting why, and some of the reason is what she has actually said. The reasons why that one is agriculture was used as a punishment, but again, apart from that, are we are selling agriculture to the youth in a way that they see the value in terms of do they make profits? Because the end goal is money, they need money, and are they seeing the opportunities across the value? Not just the actual production at the farm, but again, what about the sales of the inputs, the aggregation, and all across the value chains? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. For me, it was climate smart awareness and adoption, those two. Climate smart awareness, I saw it approaching 80%. And I found it tying also to women, because where I come from, most of the women are illiterate, or most of the people in Kilifi County are illiterate. So awareness through maybe some methods of passing information might be a hindrance. And then also when it comes to adoption, adoption might not be easy for women and youth. It is also tied to maybe land financing. You might realize that for them to do some of those adoption practices, they have to have maybe land, on land, because owning that land, they cannot do anything on that land. So for me, CSA awareness and adoption is what I'm seeing like a takeaway. And also being an extension officer, extension is a challenge in the county when it comes to staff-farmer ratio. Staff are very few. We are almost, for us, 1 to 2,200 farmers. So one staff cannot handle that big number. So that's a big challenge.
I'd like to take this opportunity first to appreciate the work that has been done for the presentation of this study. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock is spearheading the review of the next phase of this strategy because it is ending this year. And therefore, this was very timely for the study to have done ahead of the serious work that we have engaged in to review the new version. And issues that have been gathered here or that are informed by the report will really be very instrumental in the version of the strategy that we are going to come up. And therefore, I believe it will be far much improved because it has eased the burden of the ministry doing another study. We rely on this one because our staff were involved in it and we worked in collaboration and partnership for the same. So this is one report that we really value and will be in use for the next activity that we are going to undertake. What comes out are the issues of actors, players in the climate change space working in isolation. We need to see more engagement, more coordination to avoid the duplication of climate action or the implementation. The issue of gender, the imbalance between participation of male and women. This was the factor of age. We have seen minimal participation of the youth. The youth, if we are not careful, are moving out from agriculture. And therefore, as we review the next strategy, we must think through and see how can we bring youth and more women participation or engagement. Last year, we launched the 4K program in the Ministry of Agriculture. And this is one program now which will start mentoring the children right from the primary level to even college level, so that we start bringing them on board to agriculture and taking them through the concept of climate change. There was also technology and innovation, and the challenge is that some of the technologies to mitigate or for adaptation to climate change could be beyond the cost of the actors, the agro producers and other actors in the space. And therefore, the second strategy must review and see what kind of innovations are cost effective, are more friendlier going by gender, can be applied with ease and less costly to women or youth. Then there's also the aspect of post-harvest loss. And in this, Kenya, we lose due to pre and post-harvest quite a good portion of our harvest. So the value chain must take into consideration and check against those losses. So in the next strategy, these are issues which, together with others, which will be addressed. Our Archbishop also raised that will also be very key, and we'll look into it together with other stakeholders who will have an input in it. As we start today, we'll continue with you until the validation time comes for the next strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Still at it, if you may hold the mic. You opened coming from the national government, Ministry of Agriculture. And the Ministry of Agriculture at the national level is responsible for policy setting, which of course you've already alluded to in terms of addressing the gaps that have been identified. What you do say in terms of this critical issue that has been raised about funding for climate smart agriculture being largely donor reliant or dependent as a risk. How are you going to resource the next strategy?
The Ministry of Agriculture supports the players, faith-based organizations, the CSOs, so as to implement climate action and initiatives in their respective space. One, the Ministry of Agriculture offers or places itself as a strategic leader in climate financing. One way is coming up with the facilitation of linkages, like we have a program funded by the World Bank, the FLOCA. FLOCA, through the Treasury and the World Bank supported, works with the MDAs or multi-departmental agencies, agriculture, irrigation, water, energy, and all others. In agriculture, we take the front position in ensuring that we give a guide to implementation and the way the stakeholders can also get access through the funding model. And it is a program that is fully devolved in the 47 units. But that notwithstanding, agriculture also gets into engagement with the other organizations like the African Group of Expert Negotiators support. And currently, we are doing a program called Strengthening the Capacity of African in support of climate financing, SCACAF, and which now we are working for the region, and it takes several countries. But it makes stakeholders have ability to do bankable proposals that are acceptable to the international funding criteria. And therefore, this is one thing which is ongoing. We also do capacity building to the local community and stakeholders and the county level so that they can step up lobbying and advocacy towards seeking space for funding or financing for projects. We also give guide and we advise on the very projects that are by design can have impact in climate change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I welcome to Right Reverend Dr. Emily from a faith-based organization. Contribution do you see the faith actors playing in bridging the gaps that have been identified from your practical experience?
I think one of the strengths of the faith-based organizations is that they work with the people at the grassroots level. And therefore, personally, it's very good that the faith-based organizations are participating at the policy level, and then they will pass that down to the grassroots, creating awareness and mobilization, because the faith-based organizations are good at local mobilizations, so that these issues don't just stay in the shelves. Sometimes we do research and they just stay on the shelves. But I'm happy that with faith-based organizations, it can be passed to the grassroots, then creating awareness among the grassroots people. I think the church has the language to create awareness, and then fighting for justice, climate justice, because the church is called upon to fight for justice. So I see the church and the faith-based organizations really taking a key role on climate justice, having a prophetic role even to the government and the private sector and other organizations.
Thank you. I think it's very interesting listening to your contribution, in the sense that you are calling upon the policymakers to really integrate the faith actors in all processes, starting with the policy formulation, not just involving them, the faith actors at the end in terms of implementation, so that you own the process. And let me pose this question to Anne. You say that you work with the youth and you. Of course, the study indicated that the youth involvement in agriculture is wanting. What do you think is the problem? And how can this problem be solved in terms of really helping to bridge the gap? Because we expect that, going by demographic statistics, the youth would naturally be the majority involved in agricultural activities, but it is the reverse.
Thank you. I would look at it in two ways. One, do they have the right skills? Do they have the right attitude? Do they have the right knowledge? So if you're able to equip the youth with good skills, knowledge, and also help them develop a positive behavioral change towards agriculture, that is the key thing. Number two is that even if the youths are willing to engage in agriculture, how many own land? How many have the resources to start the enterprises? But I look at it from the experience, from the various projects probably have implemented, is that if you have a youth who join the program, are willing to gain their skills, simply because agriculture has an opportunity, so they have a passion for it, they actually excel because they will do it practically. We all know that our education system has a focus more on theory. So, but in this case, because you are training them or you are letting them know this is how you go about it, they gain their skills. And in this case, even after going to their own enterprises, they already know what to do. They are not struggling. But again, when you look at one of the challenges you have mentioned, the issue of financing and that the youth do not have land, are we able to provide them with the resources, just a startup kit or enabling them to start their own enterprises. But again, avoiding the issue of them relying too much on being supported, but telling them by the end of this, it is you to continue with the enterprise. So I'm providing you this, but again, you're the one to work on it. So there's a cost sharing. There's an investor, but again, there's someone who is doing it. So that even after the investment, they'll have already known how to do the production. They're able to do production on their own. But the end goal, again, is to link them to the market. Because as much as we're doing the production and they do not have an end market, they're not able to sell their produce. Across the value chain, you're doing a production, but at the end you have a premium market, so you're able to get your resources and you're not going to incur post-harvest losses that will have a big benefit to them. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's quite profound in terms of really understanding our youth so that they can be involved in climate-smart agriculture activities. I want to pose this question to you, Caroline. You're coming from the county. And the question of coordination and partnership kept coming up. Yeah. You are a practitioner of many years. And I would imagine that perhaps you worked in the Ministry of Agriculture even before devolution took effect in 2013. Now you've been in devolution for, I don't know, more than 10 years, let us say so. What is working? Yeah? What is not working and what can be done really to strengthen partnership and coordination to deliver on climate-smart agriculture?
Okay. For coordination, it starts up. Coordination from the national government down to the county government, and we have coordination horizontally also. And when you talk to coordination in the agricultural sector, we need to have a structure in which we involve all parties. And this is what is currently down in there in the counties, where we have the County Agricultural Sector Steering Committee. There is the same committee up, the JASCOM, that is the Joint Agricultural Sector Steering Committee. And in these committees, we have representatives from all actors, the state actors and the non-state actors. So when we have such committees and we sit together and we discuss, we could do a lot of things. And especially when we talk of partnership or working together, it means from joint planning, joint financing, if there's maybe a project where we avoid synergy, where we bring about synergy, We also have joint implementation, joint monitoring, and evaluation. So all aspects of everything that we do on the ground, we have to work together. Again, it depends on the political goodwill. So we normally have to involve all actors, also those who are political and non-political, faith-based organization. All of us should come together in coordination. You'll also realize that, like now for our case in Kilifi, most of the people who come as actors want to work in the arid and semi-arid areas, because that is where we have a lot of challenges. But again, if they all go to one area, you'll realize that it's the same farmer who benefits, and a lot of money is exhausted in one area. But if now we could come together in the county, discuss together with the different partners, agree together, this partner goes to a certain area, or this partner maybe comes in with capacity building, the other one comes with incentives, or maybe with items for the farmers to do demos and so forth, then maybe for us the challenge has been a committee that coordinates all that, but I thank God we have one in the county, and through that the chair is the CEC, we are able to at least make sure before any organization comes to work in the county, they pass through the committee, tell us what they want to do, and in that way we avoid duplication on the ground. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much for your robust response. You know, we are talking about coordination and a partnership, and I think Caroline has mentioned the aspect of horizontal coordination and the aspect of also what we call vertical coordination in terms of linking the county to the national government. Do you want to weigh in? What could be done to enhance partnership and coordination?
Coordination and partnership starts at the national level. And to be very specific in climate space, climate change space, we have the climate platform. This one is made up of a diverse membership, ranging from research, academia, input suppliers, all the CSOs, faith-based organizations. They have representation in the CSA MSP, which was brought up through a strategy, the Climate Smart Agriculture MSP strategy. And this has brought harmony for the players. They've been able to work together and to foster their interest, their particular interest within the platform. We have thematic areas so that those who have specialization in gender have a gender perspective or component of the thematic area. Those doing capacity building have a space, a component of their own. And therefore, each interest, the interest of each party is well kept stakeholder platform. And in the very recent times, we've been able to devolve that concept to the counties. And as we speak, we have a number of about 22 counties which have adopted what we call county climate smart agriculture multi-stakeholder platforms now. You see, the joint agricultural steering committees, those are too general. But when we want to move into specialization of the commitment to climate action and agriculture, then the CSA multi-stakeholder platform is the way to go. And it has worked. We are continuing to build up the capacity of the counties so that they can bring that specialized platform for the partners and the stakeholders to have a voice, a joint voice, to avoid the issue she was talking about of duplication. Take, for example, implementation of some of the projects by partners. You may find that they advocate that maybe water harvesting plan is done, then another partner comes and does another water plan. So if we harmonize these activities, put into work plans, joint work plans and programs, then it is very easy to move smoothly and to execute the climate action interventions in the county and at the national level.
Okay, thank you very much for your robust response. Maybe coming on to the Right Reverend Dr. Emil here. The question of inclusivity kept on popping up in the study findings. And at one point, it was indicated that women are significantly involved in climate smart from the findings. But again, you raised a very fundamental question. Is their involvement meaningful? What do you think could be done really to translate women involvement in climate smart agriculture to being meaningful?
You know, we had somebody who was saying women are the majority in the church. But somebody asked that the fact that women dance in the church doesn't mean they are contributing meaningfully. Uh, I think it's the same thing with agriculture. You know, you'll find them in the farms. But are they, you know, I always see most of these seminars when the Ministry of Agriculture or the church calls for seminars, it's the men who come for those seminars. Technology is passed to the men, but it is the women down there doing the work. You know, nowadays even the weather forecast is done technologically. Yet these women are not technologically, you know, empowered. So for me, I don't think sake of numbers. How meaningful are they participating, even in the policy? In most cases, when meetings are called, it is mostly men who go to those meetings. The information is not even passed down well to the women. So for me, I think it's not just a matter of numbers. Are they participating in policy? Are they participating in decision making? When technology is being passed, you know, is it being passed to the men or the women? Recently, we had Farmers' Day in our county. And we had a colleague. He's in the office most of the time. But the wife does farming, is one of the greatest orange producers. But when word was being given, he was called all the way because even her name is not is not appearing there. So I think let us not just use women in numbers. We don't just want to dance and you relate when the ministry people come. We want to be involved in a meaningful way.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we are about to now have an interface with the participants. But before we get to the participants, and the question of technology, yeah, has really kept on raising that for us to have that transformative kind of climate smart agriculture, technology plays a critical role. What do you think about it? What can be done about it moving forward so that technology and innovation plays a crucial role in climate smart agriculture?
Thank you. I think technology is good. So on the other side, it's also and can be bad. But again, in agriculture, if you're using technology appropriately, like for example, if you have a greenhouse, you're able to grow tomatoes throughout the year. You have minimum chances of pest and disease infestation because when the weather condition is not appropriate, when it is rainy, your tomatoes are not affected as compared to a farmer who is doing production in the open field. And that is technology. But again, if you look at technology now, also on the other side of the youth, we are all talking of how they are misusing the technology in terms of being rampant and all those things. But again, how do we encourage the youth to use the technology appropriately? Because if I am a youth and I have a TikTok account, I can make use of that TikTok account to market my agricultural produce, the services I'm offering to the farmers. So I think the main thing here is to let the youth know, or even the farmers, understand how do we make use of technology appropriately and make use of it in a way that is benefiting us as farmers, as agripreneurs, to market our produce, to educate farmers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you've been wonderful listeners to the panel. We want now turn to you. so that we make it more interactive. If you got any comment or question to any of the panelists, I'll be taking a few questions and comments from the participants. So let me rise up so that we can truly be interfacing. You know, we are handling a very important subject, agriculture. I don't know if you had the statistics and the data in the morning. 25% contribution to, direct contribution to our GDP. If you put indirect, I think Patrick is here, he will tell you that it could even be more than double perhaps. When you look at agro-processing. And if you talk about the foreign earning, it could, I think, accounts for more than 2/3. And many others, yeah, not to mention others. So I let me see by a show of hands. Many questions. All right, this is what I'll do. I'll start from my far right. Coming this way, we'll take a number of questions like 4, and be precise and to the point. And if you are targeting that question to any of the panelists, be specific enough. Let me start from my far right here. Your name and your question.
Good afternoon. I'm Brinda Sharma, and yeah, you heard me speak before, but my question is to the panelist or anybody here from the government. How much of an understanding do people have about GMO seeds? You know, is that knowledge dispensed, how they work, and the impact it has? Because obviously it takes away from traditional farming. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw another hand here.
Thank you. Mine is not a question, it's just a contribution to the discourse. And I want to thank the panelists for that insightful discourse you just shared with us. In the space of, because one of the barriers to implementation of CSA in this country is the limited access to the means of investing in the sector. And in the space of climate action in the agriculture sector, in the ambit of the Climate Smart Agriculture Multi-Quarter Platform, we came up with an initiative and developed what we call the Climate Smart Agriculture Investment Plan. This is a guide on investment planning to show climate action within the sector. This document or this guideline was developed and launched last year. We've been able to pilot it in 5 counties. We've piloted in Taveta, Makueni, Siaya, Nyamira, and Meru. The key objective is to build capacity at the 2 levels of the government to be able to build that capacity so that we can be able to assist actors along the agro value chains to be able to develop those bankable proposals to be able to tap into the various and diverse sources of finance within the space. Just wanted to weigh in with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that document is online. You can be able to find that. The Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Investment Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. You can access that. Your question, please.
Thank you. I'm Stephen Kafufa, representing NCCK from PCA. Mine goes to Dr. N and Anne. And this is the youth and school and the attitude. This is a country that has more motorbikes than water pumps. After 60 years of independence, why is agriculture, which is the backbone of the country, in high school, treated together and categorized together with the German, French, and music. While Kiswahili is compulsory, not agriculture. Where students learn CRE and history more than agriculture. Don't we think that we can go where the youth are to change their attitude? Dr. Emery said we used to punish them, go and collect manure. But also, we have not, they enter school with laboratories, but no greenhouse. So think about that.
Okay, thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you. My name is Mary Mwangi. I'm here courtesy of NCCK. And my question goes to the panelists, and thank you for the wonderful work and the presentations today. Mine will go a different direction on youth involvement when it comes to agriculture. Because I believe in the statistics we have the 4.8% and also the 18% that is between 25 to 35 years. I'm a strong believer that when we have the youth speaking, we'll identify with them and we'll be learning more from the young people who are doing agriculture. So my question is, and from the statistics, there are people, it's not like there are no people, no young people who are involved in agriculture. Where are they when it comes to these conversations? Because I would identify with a young person when they talk about agriculture than someone who has been in agriculture sector for a long time, because it will be like, I have a 10 years experience. But when it comes to someone who is 18 to 24 years, who is slowly getting into agriculture, I will identify with them because they are slowly getting into agriculture. So the question is, where are the young people who are already in agriculture? Are they speaking about it? And how can we learn from them because they are already in it?
I think that's a very interesting question to the panelists. I want to take 2 extra questions, then I take it back to the panel, and if time allows, we'll go to a next round. So I'm trying to be democratic in terms of the spread. So I'll have your question. One person from that table, then we take the next.
Reverend Maurice Olela from Diocese of Maseno South. Allow me to also say that what Bishop said is very much in order, that we do not recognize or appreciate the women after the hard work they've done. But the other bit of it is also that a number of those women does a small-scale farming for their own consumption, but not large-scale. Now just a question to my sister Caroline. Now that youths are not interested in agriculture, what can we do in the rural that will attract youths to avoid the rural-urban migration, youth seeking jobs in town in the name of hustling and avoiding agriculture in the rural areas? Thank you.
Thank you. I said I'm coming to this table. You're so many. Start with you, then you can pass it over to me.
From IRCK, Youth Interfaith. My question goes to Anne. She had notified the challenge that the youth are going through in where she comes from. So, in terms of the strategy of Putin, what are the into to include the youth in the conversation, and also the new plans that the government can help you in terms of the improvement? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Tua, and I have 2 questions. One, everyone is talking about youth involvement in agriculture, which is right. And the question is, how can we make agriculture to be practical Right now, when people go to school, those who are doing agronomy, they are doing it to come and be employed as managers. How can we make it practical so that when they are trained, they come to practice it? Number two is the issue of inclusion, involvement of people with disabilities. I just want to hear the view of the panelists on this one, because the research was very explicit that very few people with disabilities are involved in this work. Thank you so much.
All right, I think let us go back to the panel so that they respond to these questions before they become too many, then you come to the next round. I want to start with Anne, because most of the questions I've also touched on, then the Reverend, then this way. Oh, you have the mic. Okay, go
on. Let me start with a question on how do we make sure that, why is it that agriculture is an option? I think this is an issue of policy, and it would be ideal if we make sure that every student is learning agriculture. And partly it is being done with the current CBE curriculum. You all know that the grade 5, they are learning basic agriculture. But again, even in those institutions, are they doing it practically? So as much as we are talking of them learning agriculture, let them be able to grow the vegetables, able to see, not as a punishment, but a way of learning. And the same case applies. As much as we need to instill discipline to students at school, then let's not use agriculture as a form of punishment, because it also has a negative impact. Secondly, agriculture is not a walk in the park. It has its own challenges. It's a business. So we need to create platforms for those who have already been successful in agriculture to share their stories. And not just the success stories, they also need to share the challenges, because you do the production, but sometimes it rains heavily, so there's floods, and that's a loss. And those are the things that farmers go experience. So as much as we are sharing our success stories, also it is important to make sure everyone understands their challenges, and that is going to be resilient. Maybe on what we are doing, last question from the other end, as an institution. Last week we had students who have been part of our alumni in that case to just come and share their success stories. And I can tell you for free, it was amazing. Well, here someone did a very short course for 3 months, did it practically, because for us, we are instilling the practical activities training. So if you are planting tomatoes, do I know how to sow? Can I be able to do it on my own? So by the time you are leaving, you're able to do it. And that means when they go out there, they're basically able to do that. And you find they have very nice success stories. And so for me, I would say, for those youths who have really found a passion and understood what agriculture means, they are really doing very well. And it's upon us to be able to create platforms for them to share their ideas, their success, and what they have been able to achieve. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. I think it's good that we now have a new curriculum, and I hope agriculture will be key. You know, at the moment, I don't think we really understand the change in the curriculum. I really agree that youth should mentor other youths, and in many instances, as church and as government, we ignore the youth. I think if we bring the youth on board, I think they will really influence other youths and people living with disability. I think we continue marginalizing them. I remember there was a person living with disability being interviewed over in one of the TV stations, and They said people always look at them as people to be pitied, while they also have ideas. And we don't bring them on board. And many times they challenge us. For example, that people living with disability are marginalized. Maybe we didn't have many of them in this room. So I think it's a challenge that we should not continue marginalizing people, you know, if we really want everybody to come on board.
Thank you. Over to you, Caroline.
Okay, thank you. The question was how to pull youth in agriculture. What I can say from an experience I had while coordinating a program, the Agriculture Sector Development Support Program, is that most of our youth do not want to do agriculture jobs that pay after a long period of time. For example, growing crops like cassava, they will wait for 8 months, growing coconut, cashew nuts. So to pull them to agriculture, we pull them along the value chain, not necessarily can be in input supply, where they sell like eggs, they sell chicks, they get things from the farmers' produce. They can also trade. Maybe they buy coconuts and sell coconuts. Maybe they come in processing, but not necessarily farming. So that way we can pull youth into agriculture. Once they see that there is money in agriculture, then they can also go to production. The other thing also is involving youth in digital agriculture. Currently, we have a program with the African Center for Women in ICT, where we are having youth, we are calling them champions, who will be passing information to farmers. And I believe through such agricultural initiatives, they will be interested, where they use mobile apps. And also we can have them use like the drones, farming. They can also be using the latest technologies like the greenhouses, the drip irrigation in vegetable farming. This way we can pull them to agriculture. And once they see money in it, they will work hard in it. In Kilifi, we also have exhibition where we have youth come in to show what they have done, and we give them awards. So in such also, we can pull the youth, because they can come see what other youths are doing, and they get involved in that too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, sir.
Apart from the efforts that are being done from the Ministry of Education, you know, changing the curriculum so that it becomes more on-hand and practical. The Ministry of Agriculture is also coming up very strongly because of it revived the 4K clubs that used to exist in early years. Last year, a number of schools were supplied with equipments like solar dryers and a drip irrigation kit. There is also the approach of training the school teacher, agricultural instructor, so that their capacity build. The extension, frontline extension, also visit schools within their locality to ensure that those students have the right package training. And we have also developed training manuals to guide them. You must agree with me that the agriculture we have today and the agriculture that was practiced many years back is different. Those years to be drudgery. When we were growing as young boys, we did manual work. But today we are moving towards innovation and technology, modernizing agriculture. It is enshrined very well in this climate smart agriculture strategy, whereby in liaison with the research institution, CARO, they have developed a package of innovations, packaged as TIMS, Technology Innovation Management Practices. That set of innovations can be unpacked and applied appropriately to the various categories, be they women or youth, depending on the affordability, capability, agroecological zones, suitability of the innovation. And as such, some of the technologies that are mentioned here that go with the value addition, it is, as one speaker said, it's not easy for a youth to wait for a banana to grow for 8 months to mature, to get money. But they can buy that banana, go and do value addition, so that they process it into crisp or banana flour. Where a youth uses his brain, he develops interest. But if you limit them to manual work, they'll run away from that, and you'll have an issue with them. But if you approach them with the technology and innovation, this will endear. That's why sometimes we say making agriculture sexier, that is more appealing. If we make it more appealing, then you will pull them back. We have seen results because across the country, there are projects which have been started by youth. Now they are more commercialized, they are more engaged, and we are continuing on with those efforts. Most of the government programs that come, it comes with the component of inclusivity and technology. So this is the way to go, and this is the only way we can endear. There's also the other concept which has not been mentioned of using early warning system, early warning, for weather information, so that climate information is utilized to make decision. A youth can spare if the weather turns around and they lose their crop or whatever they have been doing because of change of the weather. But using that concept, which now is has been rolled out has been there even to the counties, the participatory scenario planning, whereby weather forecasts are interpreted to come up with the scenarios, then we come up with the advisories, and it is an all-inclusive process. Then, even before they put their resources or mind into a project, they have an idea how that season will turn around. So we climate-proof some of the innovations and some of the practice that they are doing to avoid disparity because of loss.
Thank you very much. There is one question which has not been responded to on GMO. And I thought, Julius, you could be the right person to respond to it now that you come from the ministry, and also Patrick is also here. Has it got any role to play in climate smart agriculture? And as I think there was the question of awareness as well, people been kind of informed about.
It's an area which has a lot of gray areas, but can Patrick respond to that?
But
thank you. In climate smart agriculture, remember we are saying we need to leverage on technology and innovations. GMOs fall under that. But the gray area is about the myth surrounding GMOs. I don't want to go into that. But I want to say that the government has put in place structures to be able to legislate the issue of GMOs within the country. The Biosafety Act of 2009 was enacted to legislate activities involving GMOs, touching on food, feed, industry, trade, and even environmental issues. And alongside that, the government established what we call the National Biosafety Authority in 2011. And this is the authority which is charged with spearheading and regulating all activities around the GMO. Important to note is that the authority supported and they have established regulations touching on several aspects around this area of GMOs. Critical is the bills which have been passed and enacted to support the same. We have the bill on import, to regulate import, export, and transit of GMOs. We have the bill still of 2011 on issues to do with the environmental release of GMOs. And critically is the bill passed in 2012 to legislate what we call the labeling, so that consumers can be able to know whether if the seed they are buying is a GMO, if the product they are buying is a GMO. It is important to legislate that so that consumers can be able to make that. So for us as government is to have the necessary structures in terms of policy, in terms of legislation, to legislate the introduction and the interaction around the whole thing. Let me pause it there, and thank you.
Okay, I would imagine that that has raised even more questions, but yeah, somebody said that if you eat the GMO, if you are a man like me, you can grow breasts. But I don't want to go that direction. Actually, time is over. Yeah, I'm instructed or guided as such that our time is spent. Now, I want to be very democratic. So, we want to give room for only 3 questions. One burning question from that end, one burning question from the middle, and one burning question from my far right. Right? So can I, if you really have a burning question, and you're coming from that end, but not on GMO, or it can be still on, let me now see. Now this is what we'll do. The people in front, 1 or 2 had spoken. So we'll settle for 1 person from behind. That's democratic enough. Okay. Your question, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my name's Naftali Lamoke from ADS Naika. And my question is, out of the presentations, not really for this, is that my county, Kajiado, is one of those who are mentioned in the report. But my concern is that there is little that have been done in the ground. Like Kajiado, the most problem issues on climate change and agriculture is the issue of charcoal burn, the issue of sand harvesting, and the issue of carbon credit, which is an issue in Kajiado County. Sasa, it is a comment, especially which goes to our presenters, kwamba a lot need to be done about the environmental degradation in Kajiado County. We have documents that have been mentioned, it is true. The CIDV, plus other documents which are very good in the county of Kajiado, but a little has been done. You see motorbike now, bag of supply of Chaco to Nairobi to Kitengela to Athi River is done by motorbikes from Kajiado County, just including the sun harvesting. So that's my comment, which goes to the presenters who are here present with us.
I'm getting like this. I saw several hands. What we do is this. Please write down your question. Yes? Just write. I'll pick the questions. Then we'll respond to them. Just write them in a piece of paper. Just pull a piece of paper and but we are going to stick to only 3 people speaking or asking questions. So just write it down, my friend. I'll pick it. Now, yes, this is good. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Ture Golicha, Executive Director for ADS Mount Kenya East. Mine is a comment and also a question. I think the root cause of environmental issues and also the climate change is the emissions. What strategy do we have as church and also as government to take this discussion to global? It takes a leader and advocacy for us to really change the use of fossil fuel. Why are we still using the fossil fuel, which is seriously causing all this? How can we influence the global leaders through our channels of communication or through the channels of engagement as church globally and through the government globally? How can we equip and empower our youths, mothers and women and the community to advocate for the change, to push for the leaders to think beyond national, globally? Because the biggest problem of environmental issues is coming from the fossil fuel gas emission, which is seriously affecting the health, the food security, and even agriculture and water and even human disease. So it really calls for us to take globally, influence the G20, the people who are discussing and making decisions, and influence the Congress that is really passing and allowing people to continue drilling and bringing this. How can we transition, shift to a renewable energy? So I think it starts with us through even the faith and through the government and the entire community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm taking the last question from this end, and it will be a lady because men have spoken. Otherwise, I'll short of the constitutional requirement. Okay. This is what I'll do. I'm told that we can achieve parity. Let us have 2 questions. From one lady here, another one.
Good afternoon. My name is Florida from the State Department of Asals. My comment is about climate adaptation mainly in the arid and semi-arid areas. And the issue that came up is that women are very much involved in agriculture, and most of the benefits instead are going to men. And I feel that we can leverage on technology, especially the use of mobile phones, especially at household level, to increase the ability of women to get information on time. Because you'll find that if in a family, if they can only afford to, firstly is the woman with the mulika mwizi, that's basic phone, the one we call the basic phone, while the man or the men mostly will have the smartphones. And most of the times, because it's the women who are doing the agriculture, that information is supposed to come to them. So I feel that maybe the telecom companies can step up their efforts to make the smartphones more affordable, so that the smartphones, so that they can be getting the information on time. And that information, I would urge that the information is geographically relevant, because the information may be sent to somebody in Western Kenya may not be relevant to somebody in Kenya. and vice versa. So if that information is customized or made for that particular person in that ecological zone, the women will be able to understand it and use the information, and the information should come on time. So that is something that will enable the adaptation on time, especially on the side of women, because they are the ones involved in production at household level. So my call is to the telecom companies, Safaricom, Airtel, mainly because those are the ones that are most used by our farmers, so that to step up efforts to ensure affordability of the phones. We are aware that right now they are doing that effort so that maybe at 20 shillings per day you can be able to pay for a phone. But I think more needs to be done so that more women can be able to afford the smartphones, and so they can be able to get the information on time. Thank you.
Thank you. The last, was there a last one? The last but not least by any means.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Rose Joka. I work for Organization of African Institute and Churches, but I'm here to represent Interreligious Council of Kenya. Two questions. One is from the Ministry of Agriculture. A lot have been said. First, I want to thank the ADS and the team for a job well done. I think this one will be our reference point when we are working. Also to Minister of Agriculture, you've really talked about the extension farmers. In real sense, in most areas, and there's the areas, we have very few extension officers. In fact, in most cases, the farmers are forced to facilitate them with the transport for them to assist them. And thanks to ADS, again, you got an employee as an extension farmer. That's kudos, we can borrow from you. But the government, you have a lot to do when it comes to extension farmers. The other thing, I'll build on what my sister said on the issues climate resilience and food security. Recently, I was involved in a research, and we are looking at data observation, other observation on farmers, on climate resilience and food security. And what came out was that even the people at the meteorological department, and don't quote me, they are relying on indigenous knowledge to predict weather patterns. I don't know how true is that. And my question is that now, can we merge the two for us to have a sustainable, what do we call it, a sustainable data or something that is reliable? Because most of the time, the Met department tell us it will rain in June, but when June comes, it's so hot. They tell us there'll be flooding, and when July comes, it has not rained. So, but when you go to the people, our research is in West Pokot. When you talk to those old men, when they look at the bees and they start, and the most, it is accurate, it's going to rain. So how do we integrate these two for us to have the sustainable, food security? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know there are many other questions. I said that you have to write down. I've collected quite a number, but now I want to give it to the panelists. So the panelists, feel free to respond to questions that were posed to you directly, or what you can weigh on based on your expertise, experience, among other things. Julius, I think you will weigh in on climate information services, which is raised by the last speaker, on reliability and co-production in terms of science meeting local or indigenous knowledge somewhere. Um, so that I hand it over to you, I've taken a discussion to a question which has been posed by youth, so that you handle it together with others, so that the youth don't appear like we are marginalizing them even in these forums. So this is what this question says, my youth. As youths, we have most challenges. I am a farmer in Machakos, but doing farming has been difficult because of the process of production. Yeah. Funds to buy even the irrigation system, the dams dry too fast. How can you get the funding? Maybe for dam lining or the irrigation system. Which organization do we have available to support farmers like us? That is from a youth, and he has ended by saying thank you. Over to you, the panelists.
I'd like to respond to a question on emissions. 40% of our emissions are caused by the agriculture sector. Well, we also have other sectors like transport, which contribute to emissions due to use of fossil fuel. In agriculture, the major emitters of emission are the rice production areas. Rice is grown in anaerobic condition, of course, in water, which develops anaerobic fermentation, and therefore those rice fields emit a lot of methane into the space. We also have methane that is emitted by livestock. We also have emission from burning of land, giving way for clearance through burning of land. Causes smoke and the emission of carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere. The climate smart agriculture strategy has areas that are addressed to efforts for reduction of emission in the sector. One thing is that in agriculture, we contribute to the national determined contribution, whereby we have a country position and we give a report on the part we play in reducing emission. The climate change unit in the ministry is in charge of collecting data and compiling a report that is forwarded to the Climate Change Directorate in the Ministry of Environment, who ultimately responds or reports to the UNFCCC, that's the global conference, on Kenya's position on various sectors, and us, we just give our input as agriculture. So one challenge that we have is that we have a gap in collecting data from agricultural activities, and so that this informs the kind of data we give for this evaluation. And therefore, in our monitoring and reporting, so that you can be able to track development of the efforts we are making towards reducing emission. We have partnered with an organization known as CIAT, who have come up with a data collection tool, which has been piloted in 5 counties. And we are going to scale it up to all the counties now. This tool is going to assist us to collect the very relevant data that would help us be able to report efficiently so that we have accurate data for our country. Some of the efforts that are made in the strategy are through use of renewable energy, like use of solar water pumps, use of greenhouse for agro-processing, so that the kind of waste that goes to waste costs contributes to methane in the atmosphere. And therefore, if we reduce post-harvest reduction through processing or value addition, then we have played a role in reducing emission. The lazy farmer who burn their fields, we encourage them to embrace on nature-based solutions or agroecological approach of not opening up the land every now and then, because every other time you plow the land, you release the gas that is locked in the sound ground for escape. And therefore, there are other integrated ways of cultivating without mechanical plowing. There was a question raised on extension. Surely, public and even private extension service providers are outstretched by the population. We are getting newer approaches now to dealing with the issue. One is use of agripreneurs in the counties. They've been employed by the government. These are young entrepreneurs who now have gotten into the digital space for extension service provision and marketing using IT. The other approach is through aggregation of agro-producers. Whenever you aggregate the agro-producers, now you are able to give them extension service in a group approach manner. We are not able now to make home visits to provide extension service. But if they are aggregated in cooperatives, in community-based organizations, then it is very easy to reach them with the facilitation, capacity building, and the training. On the indigenous skills that are employed in weather forecast, the approach to participatory scenario planning is all inclusive, and that's why we use the word participatory. We don't leave anyone behind. It's composed of all diverse. All those people coming together to make collective decisions, to co-produce and develop the forecast. And quite often, the forecast that comes from the indigenous communities or indigenous participation and the scientific meteorological release, most of the time come to the same thing. But occasionally they differ.
KATV, Understanding the Mind of God.
Local level. In most of these global meetings, the government has a lot of say. But I think they are informed from the local level. How do we as faith leaders work with our local people? For example, now when we'll be having the COP, the Kenyan government will be represented. But how do we dialogue with the Kenyan government? So I think it's upon us as faith leaders to participate from the local level, and especially don't wait to be invited. You look for those people so that your ideas are taken into consideration.
Thank you very much. I've had a very powerful panelist, and yeah.
Our brother here mentioned what efforts are we making to push the country position at the global stage so that the issues are affecting us as a country. Most of the emissions come from the developed world. Daktari has put it very correctly. Kenya as a country, we are a party. That means we are a signatory to the various international and global agreements which bind all countries or parties on how we are supposed to engage in trying to minimize the emissions which cause the climate change. When we go for these negotiations as a party, as a country, personally I participate, but the process of how we engage starts from the country. We have what we call the country meetings where we develop the country position, and that is a very inclusive process where we have inclusivity from government and also non-state actors. And when we go for the negotiations, we negotiate on blocks. Right from, as a country, we have a position. When we meet as Africa, we have a position collectively as Africa. And then the other block we negotiate in is what we call the G77 in China. That is where we have Africa, the Caribbean, India, China. China is a developing country, by the way. We are together in one block. And we push our agenda at that level. What I wanted to bring here critically is that team which goes, it is not government alone. I want to confirm in this meeting that our lead negotiator on issues of climate finance is a member of ACT Alliance. The Kenyan lead negotiator for climate finance is a member of ACT Alliance. The lead negotiator for the agriculture sector is not a ministry person. He comes from the research and the CSO world. So the team brings on board members from all those sectors. And remember, somebody once said, he who pays the calls the what? The tune. Unfortunately, most of this finance we are talking about comes from the fellows who are doing what? And us as Africa, we are pushing for more money to come to adaptation. The developed world wants us to put money into mitigation to assist them to remove emissions, which they are doing what? But our core mandate as Africa, the biggest challenge is how do we feed our people? Food security, it's adaptation. So the monies, wenye wako na hiyo pesa, ndio wanasema mahali pesa itawekwa nini? Itawekwa. So the call is for us as Africa, as Kenya, as actors in this country, in the space of climate change action, we need to mobilize our resources and plan prudently, because tukitegemea jirani akulete mali unjijenge nayo, we are dreaming. And that's why our president keeps on saying that we need to change the climate finance architecture to speak to the challenges affecting Kenya, affecting Africa. That I want to pause it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of our panel discussion. I want to invite you all so that you can appreciate our able panelists. Can we have a round of appreciation for our panelists? Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your insights and expertise with us. I hope and trust that this actually helps to forward. Asanteni sana.
Can we also appreciate our lead person who was moderated this session very well. Thank you very much, Nicholas. We are now moving towards the end of our discourse today. You'll allow me first and foremost to give a vote of thanks. And as I do that, I think the ADS directors to be joining the chair of the board of ADS as it to give a gift to the to the ministry. There's a gift that we want to give, which we need our chair, and then he'll also do the benediction for us. To say a very big thank you to the government representatives led by Patrick, those from the county. We really want to appreciate you for ensuring that you participate not only in the research, but also in the discourse that we have had this morning. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Archbishop, the Most Reverend Jackson Olesapit, for making it to come and officially launch the report. Allow me also to thank the chair of ADS Kenya, none other than the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Kibucho, for finding time to be here. Allow me also to take this opportunity to thank all our stakeholders, the communities who are involved in the study, for giving us, being very good informants. They give us a lot of information that helped us to have this presentation that we have. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank ACT Alliance, Fraternity, ACT Alliance Kenya Forum, for ensuring that this study is undertaken, and that as part of our climate justice, we demonstrate that we really want to be part of ensuring that we are part of care. Thank our researcher, the lead researcher, the Move on Africa. Thank you very much for giving us an in-depth analysis of what's happening in smart farming. And it's our prayer that as ADS will participate in these projects in line with the finally. Those you as well for making sure that because this year as a church we are actually celebrating some media. We are happy this year as they have really engaged us. We'd like also to take this opportunity to thank our panelists. Thank you very much, our panelists, for our well done job. Your contributions will forever remember that. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank ADS regional directors who are present, kindly be upstanding. Regional directors. Yes. This is part of the 10 ADS regional directors that the Archbishop mentioned in his speech. These are colleagues who do the really work. These are the ones who interface with the farmers, and we really want to appreciate our regional directors together with your staff who came along. Please be seated. And then allow me also to take this opportunity to ask the ADS staff at the Secretariat to stand. The ADS staff at the Secretariat who have been involved with working to ensure that this study is disseminated. And we have Freddy Kodinga, we have Mercy, we have Dixon, our communication officer, who is not here. There was Patrick somewhere, Patrick Akibe. That is the team that we work with. Allow me also to take this opportunity to appreciate one of our former colleagues who is acting as our rapporteur, Joyce Mwangi. Thank you very much for that good work that you've done. So, colleagues, allow me also to request you, next year, the Anglican Church will be celebrating wholesome ecology, wholesome nation, wholesome ecology for a wholesome nation. We'll be undertaking so many activities to ensure that we run campaigns on climate change, as part of a wholesome ecology, because we celebrate God's creation. And we'll be running right from January all the way to December, with a climax of a symposium in October during the Mazingira Day. The 10th is we call it Green Anglican Movement Day, and we are happy also the government decided that it is Mazingira Day. So we'll be having a big symposium during that particular time as we celebrate wholesome ecology for a wholesome nation. As a church, I can assure you we are very keen to ensure that apart from just climate justice, advocacy, policy formulation, we are also on the ground with the eco-theology, tree growing, clean energy solution, and waste management. So wherever you stay, wherever you live, manage your waste properly. Ensure that you also use clean energy solutions. Promote clean energy solutions, and then do tree growing. And we believe that if you can use all anniversaries to grow trees, then we'll be moving towards the right thing. And then we want to use the pulpit. When we talk of eco-theology, is there we are saying that can we use our churches to talk about creation care? That is an area that we really want to focus on. So as part of the wider agenda of the Anglican Church, next year we are going to celebrate wholesome ecology, and we'd like to call upon you, join us, partner with us. And we have champions here who are doing great job in the community. And you'll allow me just to mention one of them. Reverend Dune, where are you? Yes, that great man from Mombasa. The Diocese of Mombasa is doing great job. He thinks, he dreams issues of, tree growing. If you go, he comes from, is it Ngombezi? Lunga Lunga. Yes, he came all the way from there. So you can see, as a church, this is an area that we are very keen to ensure that creation care, we are aggressive about it. We cannot afford not to do something. So you allow me now to invite our chair, the Right Reverend Dr. Joseph Kibucho, to come, and we'd like to request Patrick, kindly, ADS directors, please be absent. Come very fast to join your chair to make sure that the industry gets this gift. Yeah, this gift. Join.
partnership in the government, and Patrick, take this gift as a token that the partnership will continue to grow. We look forward to working together in the future.
You can open it. You can open it. You can open it so that you read what just don't need to read. Just show them. Just show. Please.
So beautiful. The Anglican Church of Kenya, with greatest appreciation, we honor Honorable Senator Mutai Kagwe, Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock, for officially launching the Climate Smart Agriculture Implementation Assessment Report 2025, Planting Resilience for Future Generation. And this is from the Most Reverend Dr. Jackson Ole Sapit, Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya, Bishop of All Saints Diocese, Bishop in Ordinary to the Kenya Defense Forces. And I want to say on behalf of the CS, Asante Sana, and we pray that the partnership grows. Thank you.
Yes, now, sorry, in my vote of thanks, Babal, in my vote of thanks, allow me to thank Act Alliance Nairobi Forum. Can you be upstanding and the planning committee? Please, Act Alliance Planning Committee, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, on the other side, really want to appreciate you. Thank you for a well done job. You because within the protocols, once the bishop speaks, I'll not come back here. So allow me to request Reverend Fedis to pray for the food, and then after that, Baba will do the final remarks and close it with prayer.
Let us believe and pray for the food. Lord our God and our Father, we thank you for providing us with something to eat. We pray that, Father, even as we proceed to eat the lunch that has been prepared, that, Father, you bless and sanctify it for our taking. We pray that, Father, you remember the connections and the fellowship around the meal. In Jesus' name, amen.
So thank you very much, Bibo, for being a good MC since we started in the morning until now. Just like the Archbishop said, let's remember that climate change is not a clinical word, but a call for action. Let's go forward and motivate people for the work at hand. The harvest is there, both the spiritual, physical, financial. Let us go for it. Let's go and create opportunities for young people, for women, people who are differently abled, because they have a role to play. Take our greetings back to your organizations and your regions. Kindly let us stand for the final blessing. Father, you are the good God who created the world, and you made us managers of the same. May we make care. Thank you all. We pray that Christ, the Son of Righteousness, will shine upon you. May he scatter the darkness of doubt from your presence. May he save you from any kind of retardation. May he save you from environmental destruction, poor yields in your agricultural activities, lack of market for your yield. May he save this nation from poor infrastructure and communication. May the good God save us from bad governance, and all the vices that come with it. May He make your path clear. May He lead you to prosperity. And now the blessings of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with you and remain with you always. Amen.